So we have time to mastermind. If anyone has um, anything they want to bring up, anything from the meeting or just in general in your business or anything that inspires you. Foxy.
Well, we talked a lot about showing up and how do we want to show up and at what level do we want to show up. And that is, if we want to inspire others, we have to be willing to show up. And if we want to be inspired, we have to be willing to show up. And so I think that what we talked about today really fits into the inspire theme. And, because showing, getting inspired or giving inspiration all associates with whether or not you are speaking or listening.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree with that. Anyone else have any thoughts about that? How you show up to inspire others?
Yeah, I love that because it goes to the authenticity of the community. And I love that you put this in the chat, Foxy, that Tammy is perfect fit for our community, however she decides to show up, because that is why it's awesome that we have people that are entrepreneurs, people that are working for someone else, people that are in the in-between of figuring it out. Like, we have people in all of our worlds that need the people that are in this room, the people that are in the community on different levels. And I think that Foxy, you said it beautifully about showing up and having that opportunity. And I love the conversation of how we each want to show up, because it is perfect, however that is for each one of us, and what we bring to the table. We're all unique for a reason. So yeah,
I was just going to say that.
Every single one.
I was just going to say, and don't forget, you all get to show up differently. Don't put pressure on how you show up. Just let it be. It's meant to be. It's going to be. It's one thing I've learned. I stress about how I'm going to show up. Just make it happen. And when I can, then it's more meaningful and you're not as stressed showing up, because then you're more authentic as yourself in your busy world and showing other people how to do it and giving them the courage and inspiring them.
Yeah, and I think I totally agree with that, JL. And I think in my experience, sometimes when you are messy and complicated and like think you're going to shrink back but show up anyway, I feel like those are even the times where you're most inspiring, because you show up through the struggle. And I think, like, especially now, that's what people need. Any other thoughts on that?
I think that also adds to the authenticity. I think that's like, I show up with my hair a mess, my trash can in my background and no makeup on, in my PJs. And it doesn't matter. I show up authentic. I was on some hours with Stephanie the other day. My kids were screaming and she could hear them, and I was like, it was like my mastermind time. And I'm like, well, if anyone actually does watch these, they are going to be entertained because they can hear my kids screaming. She's like, I'm thoroughly entertained. I was like, all right, then. You know what I mean? So I think when we do show up in the struggle, that is the essence of who we are. Because we all are challenged. I mean, we've all cried on here. Well, maybe not all of us, but I have, Beck has, have cried on here, we share our challenges, we ask for support, and I think that's what makes us real.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that, Foxy. And, I think about all the people who are like, oh, I can't do that. Like, my kids are always screaming in the background, and it's like, oh, but that is just an excuse, because we have that too. So yeah, definitely. No excuses. Any last thoughts before we reach the top of the hour?
I love that. I was just gonna say that was all me last week. Y'all held the space. That's what we do, right? We hold the space for the messy, and that is why we have an annual membership, because life is ebbs and flows. We're gonna go through times when we don't feel like showing up, and we need someone to come on in and say, "I see you're missing. Everything okay?" And give us that extra encouragement to say that we know that you're not here and we miss you, and we're holding the space for you to show up as you are in your mess, because that's a message that someone else probably needs on the call. So
And with that, we are at the top of the hour. So I'm going to stop